Hello, good morning to our session. In
Good
this
morning.
webinar, we have two panelists. We have got Engineer Abdul Shakur Sahab and we have got Hira Nauman. So we'll actually invest a lot of our time talking and exploring their ideas, their outlook, and the way they view the world. Hello, would you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Okay, so my name is Abdul Shakur Sheikh, and I have done my Bachelor's of Engineering from Mehran University of Engineering and Technology back in 2009. And I have been working as a lecturer in Petroleum Technical Training Institute. Currently, I am appointed as assistant professor in the BBS University of Technology and Skill Development, Khartoum years. So this is what I am.
Wow, thank you. Hira, please introduce
Assalamu
yourself.
alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Hira Nauman. By profession, I'm a teacher, but in education, I've done my master's in marine, and I've traveled a lot. But my passion is right now to teach the younger children.
Right.
You know, you learn a lot from them. So I am a teacher and taking care of elementary section in one of the renowned schooling system in Karachi.
Wow. Thank you very much. I think with this introduction, we are moving to the first segment of our talk, and that segment is exploring yourself. And my question to both the panelists would be that what is one symbol that you like to associate yourself with? Any one symbol that you would like to associate yourself with? Sir?
Well, it's very hard to think about any specific symbol to describe your own self because it sometimes depends upon your mood and your personality swings. So being a teacher, I believe the one symbol that could describe me is the pen. The pen is something that teaches you how to learn, teaches you how to draw, teaches you how to shape things, teaches you how to start learning your own self, learning the environment around. So this is something that symbolizes what I've just described. So pen, yes, pen describes me.
Wow. Great. Hira?
I associate myself with the symbol of peace because I don't like conflicts.
We are now moving to the next segment of our talk, and that segment is teaching and learning process. As you all know that we are in a lockdown situation, we are facing pandemic COVID-19, and we all are at this point in time staying at home in isolation, in physical isolation, but socially we are connected. Now, my question to both the panelists would be that how do you see the situation at this point in time? Sir?
Well, I believe this situation of COVID-19 has brought about a lot of changes in our understanding of how the society can work. Because almost everybody is literally locked down in his home. Nobody is allowed to move out as a precautionary measure. And the way we used to perceive different actions of our life, like studying, moving out, shopping, doing job or anything, the entire perception has changed. The concept of life literally, as I believe, has completely changed. The way we used to perform all of these chores was completely different than the way we are doing all these things right now is. When we need something, we used to order it online today, but we didn't do it in the past very frequently. So in the past, it was kind of an option, which you want to avail it or not. It was your choice. But right now, it's not just an option anymore. It is the only thing that you can do and avail the opportunity. So I believe this situation of lockdown has literally impacted the lifestyle of each and every individual, especially the ones who are somehow a little more educated or associated with some organizations in terms of being an academician or in terms of being some employee of an organization. So it has really brought about a lot of changes in his life. Similarly, in education sector, I believe it is going to really transform the entire mechanism completely. So this is how I perceive this pandemic or this situation of lockdown today.
We'll go back to Hira. Hira, your take on that?
Yeah. Initially, it was a reality check for all of us because we used to complain like we don't have time for anything, and now we have time, and it's our choice to use it wisely and to keep up the routines and everything. Being a mom and being a teacher, I really think that this is the time to uh, work on your the areas which are not that much strong before, so you can work on it and make yourself strengthen. And apart from that, yes, it is not by it's not a choice, it's not an option for us anymore. We have to obey this for our own safety. So it has effect in a lot of ways, but it has given us a lot of opportunities also. We have become a more computer literate as we are doing online classes, and we are conducting Zoom meetings and everything. So we are socially connected, but the physical touch, which we were actually not valuing before, we were not giving that much value to that thing. We were taking everything for granted. And now this is our time to be thankful whatever you have in the limited choice, I think. So yeah, it made me realize that we are taking everything for granted, and now this is our time to be thankful whatever you have.
True, there is a lot to learn and a lot to earn and a lot to redefine into a situation.
Yes.
My next question to both the panelists would be, now how do we see teaching and learning in this point in time? Because earlier it was face to face, now we are becoming digital. So how do we see the process of teaching and learning of all the children that you are engaged with? Like here you are linked with early years students, and so you are linked with youth and adult. So how do you see the situation?
Well, I would be a little specific in answering this particular question. The moment I started conducting online classes, I faced a lot of problems doing things online because of the lack of a very strong infrastructure available in our part of the world, the lack of internet speed, slow internet speed, and more importantly, the willingness of people to transform their lifestyle, the willingness of people to come online and take education in front of a computer screen. So, and being able to control things in an atmosphere like a classroom was much more easier. But right now, doing things online is way more difficult than that. And trying to ensure that all the students are paying full attention to whatever you are saying is a little harder. But the other advantage, the other particular benefit of conducting classes online or doing all academic activities online is that we have got awareness about numerous other things that we were not knowing at all in our past. Like for the first time, I attended my personal online course was from University of California, San Diego. It was a course offered by Coursera.org. And the kind of atmosphere created in that particular situation was very different for me. And I had the opportunity to be introduced to a completely new world, a complete new situation. So there was a kind of excitement in that particular situation as well. So that excitement actually made me keep moving forward. And I tried to do some more courses in that as well. So yes, there are pros and cons to this situation also. The factor of being all these things new is quite exciting, and that is attracting a lot of the people toward itself. And the factor of making sure that everything is being done in an appropriate manner, like we are doing all the things in a classroom, is a little lacking. So we can work on it. We can try to make things better, and we can try to somehow preach a message to our students that this is the only option that we can avail right now. and the only way we can get education is online. So we cannot move away from it. So this is the only opportunity. This is the only way left for us. So this is how we can move forward, I believe.
Thank you. Hira, your take on this?
I had a very different perception about the education for the adults, because it was I was thinking that it was much easier, but sir is saying that it's harder, because in early years we are missing out on everything almost. We are missing the touch, we are missing the aha moments in the class, so we are missing out on everything because the children are very small. The age group which I'm dealing with are not capable of doing online things. It's from age 3 to 5.
Quite more challenging, I believe.
So it is very much challenging. They are missing out on everything. And now the mothers have to wake up their own inside teachers, which they immediately kill. I may be harsh on this one, but they immediately kill that teacher when they start sending their children to school. So yeah, but adults can be taking, they can take the classes, but these children are very small. They cannot take classes. We are missing. We are actually posting the videos for them to see their teachers and remember them. We are sending messages to them so they should not forget us. So in early years, it's very difficult.
Right.
It must be.
I think this is very insightful. Now, yes, this pandemic has taught us so many things, and now we are trying to reconceptualize the notion of education, teaching, and learning. It is easier in terms of adult or youth, but it would be certainly difficult for the young children. How is the response of parents, if I may ask this question? Are they cooperative? Are they feeling burdened? Are they taking it as a challenge? Are they taking it as an opportunity? How do you feel? How is the response of parents to this pandemic? Maybe perhaps Sir or Hira, anyone can answer this first.
I believe Hira will be in a better position to answer this question because I am not having any contact details of any parents at all.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, so mothers are in touch with me, but children, of course, are not. They don't want to talk over the phone. They want to play games. But if you ask me as a mother, so I must say that I'm getting most of the time with my child, and he is taking online classes right now. And it is better, I guess, because in during the class time, so many children are there, and if one asks question, so teachers sometimes are unavailable or they don't have that much time to answer every question. But in the online thing, they have to write every question on the chat and it's going to be answered. So in a way, they are getting individual attention. It's just that when we are at home, the environment is so cozy, and so they don't want to go online. But once they are online, they go with the flow.
Okay. This would lead to another question of screen time. How do you see screen time for young children? And sir, how do you view screen time for youth? Because they are on screen, like they are using gadget, but they are using some other medium and not for learning. So what would be your take on that?
I would request you to please elaborate this question a little further.
What I'm saying is that, I'm saying it that should youth in your case, because you'll be dealing with youth, they do have access to gadgets. They've been using all the friends books and Facebook and all those social sites. They are using it on their own, like Insta or Twitter and all. But then if you engage them for online teaching, how will there be any resistance to it? Are they willing about it? What is their screen time? Will they be able to learn?
Yeah, definitely, because as I said earlier, that this is a very entirely new mode of learning and teaching. So it has got a very different and attractive factor of its own. Learning things online has got a charm of its own. If you look at that from that perspective, you will feel like you are introduced to a completely new world. So yes, going online on Facebook and doing things with friends on social media is something that our youth spends most of the times on. But when they are required to come online for the sake of academics, for the sake of attending classes, they are not that much reluctant. They are willing, but again, somehow attaining or somehow a kind of sharing of kind of learning is important here. You need to give them an idea that this is something important, and a kind of motivation is supposed to be there. A kind of mobilization activity needs to be done by the teachers, and then only we can expect them to be coming on track. Because I'm sorry, I may feel or sound like a little pessimistic in this particular conversation, but this is the reality of our times. Students in our area, students in our part of the world specifically, or if I should talk about Pakistan, or if I should talk about the university or the institute I'm associated with, or the generally public sector universities, the willingness to come forward, the willingness to even learn education in any perspective, in any respect, or in any way, isn't that easy to grab. So you are going to act like a preacher. You are going to act like a motivator. You are going to act like a mobilizer first to actually bring them on the platform first and then impart education. So right now, in classroom, it wasn't necessary. You just have to enter the classroom and start connecting the lecture. Right now, you cannot do things like this anymore. You actually have to bring all those people in a setup, in an atmosphere, and make them aware about the benefits of this particular structure. And then they might probably feel like comfortable enough to be a part of this activity. Like I was conducting a lecture today, and some of the students were not feeling that much happy or that much entertained. So I started opening the book in front of them, the PowerPoint presentation, and I started drawing drawings in front of them on the screen. So the moment I started doing this thing, they were like amazed and surprised. So it was kind of a new thing for them. So they started acting like small children, and their attention, their interest, their excitement started grew further. So I took the opportunity and I tried to make the most of it and kept going. And mashallah, I covered the entire chapter today in just a period of 2 hours.
Okay.
So yes,
So
it's completely a new world.
Yeah, there's a learning that even youth or adolescents, if they are into, their learning style has now changed. Earlier, they were listening to, they were mostly into auditory skills. Now they really need AVD, audio visual, so they'll be able to see and connect. This connection is extremely important. Okay.
But we have to do some homework before that first.
Yes, that is actually the next question I'm trying to put. Yes, how do we motivate students? Hira, would you please comment on screen time for young kids? How do you?
Yes, it has led us to the position where we are actually hearing from the children that you were saying that the screen time should be limited, and now you are saying that we should take classes. So it's not included in that time, you know. So these are the comments we are hearing from the children, and they are saying that it is double standard. You were saying the screen time should be limited, and now you are saying that the study on the screen. So yes, it has led us to that position that we are hearing these kind of comments. Other than that, as sir was saying, I will comment on his point that yes, it is a reality check for the teachers also, because teachers, the most valuable thing in this era is the attention span. You know, so the teacher should be able to grab the attention of children, because in class the children are actually, you know, locked in a room where they have to listen you. But in the screen time, they are looking here and there. They can, you know, start opening some other things on the screen, and you will not be knowing this. So the teacher has to be more, in his lesson, he has to have more command on the lesson, and so he could, you know, grab the attention of the children. So this is the reality check for teachers also, I guess. As sir did the lesson today, he started doing something else which amazed all the students. So yes, I think that the screen time, there is advantage of it or disadvantage, but we have to be, you know, very much on our, you know, toes for it.
that scenario where the learning has now available through online, how do we? What is a challenge for teacher, and how do we prepare teachers? Be it early years teacher or be it university teacher. So,
Well, RJ, since you and I have been associated with British Council, and we have been conducting trainings of a different nature. So, in that particular setup or environment, our behavior was more or very much different from that of a traditional teacher. Obviously, we were not teachers, but the way we used to conduct trainings was very different, extremely different from that of a teacher. So I believe the time has come that we have to incorporate that particular role or that particular, what should I say, a kind of a mindset in today's uh, mode of treating and learning as well. Because as I said earlier, or as Rama mentors, that trying to grab the attention of students and making sure that they are paying full attention to whatever you're saying isn't that easy nowadays, because you cannot monitor what they are doing in front of their screen, because you cannot see them, just like it was the situation, it was the case in the classroom. So the only option that you're left with is to be exciting enough, is to be entertaining enough, to be attractive enough, so that the student himself doesn't move away, so that the student himself starts paying full attention to whatever you're saying. So right now we are not just going to become or acting like teachers only. We have to act more like trainers now here. We have to act more like the facilitators here. The exactly proper word that has come into my mind right now. So facilitator is something that we are supposed to be, no matter what we are, no matter where we are, or no matter how we have been acting. So the role of or the concept or the mindset of teacher is going to somehow decline, or the behavior of a teacher is going to somehow be shifting, and we have to be more like a motivator or a facilitator than a teacher in a specific situation of online classrooms.
thank you. Hira, your take on that? How do we prepare teachers?
Yes, the teachers now have more challenges. We have to be more than a teacher. We have to be entertainer now. So yes, we have to be more attractive. We have to be, have more depth into our lessons. And everything should be on our fingertips. So because you can be easily lose your student, and that is not very good, I think. So I'm not taking online classes, as early years are exempt from this kind of thing. But yes, when we see the Facebook or anything, we don't see the whole video if it doesn't appeal us. So it has to be, the lesson has to be, as I said before, was attention. I actually divide attention in two components. One is that the lesson should be appealing, and the other thing that the duration also, sometimes no matter what, the appealing part is strong, but the duration, longer the duration, the concentration has the concentration, we lost the concentration span of the children. Yes. So these days it has to be more precise. The precision part is very important these days. It has to be quick, it has to be more meaningful, and you have to grab attention no matter what, because we are in a situation where we don't know when the things are going to get normal.
Thank you. This would then lead to a very important point, which is that how do we do assessment in such situation? Because as teachers, we ourselves are not equipped with the skills. So how do you assess the learning, whether every child is partaking, whether they are getting it? So what is the mechanism of feedback, and what is the mechanism of assessment in your view?
Okay, I believe I'm not being pessimistic here, but this is something that I have to use a very difficult word for. It's extremely challenging. Assessment in this particular situation of online academics is extremely challenging. I myself have attended online classes of different courses, and let me be very honest, I wasn't very good at attempting all the examinations myself. And I tried to look for other options than just being exactly in the classroom and in the examination atmosphere. So, making sure that all of your students are very much good and appear, sorry, not appear, but give all the examinations legally and ethically, rightly, is not possible. It's very difficult.
Right.
So the only option that is left in my mind is that if you're going to conduct a test, just to go for an objective type test, there are different methodologies and techniques available on the internet, like Google Classroom is there, or Microsoft Teams is there, and there are many other testing applications in Android operating systems as well. So you can use them and ask your students to attempt them, but you cannot guarantee that they are attempting all of these questions, all those questions, without looking at any other source of cheating or whatever. So this is the reality. I'm afraid I have to mention it here. And the other option that we are left with, and in which we can somehow guarantee that the answers given by the students are completely okay, and he has not made use of any illegitimate means, is that try to interview him online. Try to make a video call, put it on recording, and try to develop an eye contact with him and ask the questions that are somehow of analytical nature. And they shouldn't be traditional questions like when was Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah was born. The answer to this question is very specific and very easily approachable and very easily writable or mentionable. So the question should be very analytical in nature, so that the true understanding of a student should come forward, so that you can actually examine how much of a learning has been obtained by the student himself. So this is how we can somehow make sure that your efforts are not wasted, that your online classes are actually given some fruit.
Right. So for youth, I think these kind of assessment responses, sir is thinking. Hera, what about earliers?
It is difficult. It is difficult. I will second to the thing what sir said, that it is difficult to take on because we are not equipped like that. As we talk about the holistic development, so we are not equipped like that, because in online classes, if we conduct the interviews, some children are not that much confident. Their psychosocial part is not that much developed. So if one knows everything but he is unable to say anything in the interview and he got fail on this, so we are not actually, we have started doing it, the holistic development, but it will, this generation will take 9-10 years to reach to that point. Then we can do that kind of assessment online one. It's highly I don't think so that it can be done, or assessment part is very difficult. But yes, if the lockdown situation is not getting resolved in near future, so we have to promote children because they are getting older. And for that thing, I think the Google Classroom was a very good idea. Other than that, the online assessments which sir was talking about is available, but in early years we cannot do the assessment part, because in that thing we have to observe the child, as you always taught us, RJ, that we have to observe child, we have to keep the observation thing and then assess the child. So it cannot be done, and every mother will speak good about the about their children, so we cannot take their point of view in this thing.
Right. So a lot of e-portfolio would work in that way. Now, what three things you could suggest to students to get into this new normal? Because now technological learning or digital learning is a new normal, right? So what three things you'd like to suggest for students to get them ready, or readiness for them? And maybe in Hira's case, she could suggest three things to parents, not students, because they are very tender, very young in age. So.
Well, I once again would be acting like a very khadus kind of teacher here, because this is something that I've been experiencing for the past couple of days. The one thing that is very much important and that is supposed to be inculcated in the minds of students right here is that you do not have any other option. Unfortunately, this is what it is. This is the only way you can move forward. This is the only way you can be assessed. and be awarded a degree or certificate. And this is the only option you can avail. So just come online and attend the classes and be used to of coming online and doing things on the computer or in front of your mobile screen. The second thing is that try to make sure that your students are learning uh, the things that you're teaching them from different others also. Like the traditional method of teaching in our classrooms used to be the one in which we used to provide notes to the students, and those notes did not have any specific particular element of attraction in them. So the only things that were present in those notes were just extempore, and or I shouldn't say extempore, but the huge amount of text and the mathematical equations and a little more somehow graphs and the equations and charts. But right now, the teacher is supposed to go online and search out for some other options, search out for some other books or research papers or some other video lessons which are very much attractive in nature and which are somehow in a position to guarantee and grab the attention of the learner. And then you can share it with your students, and the students are supposed to look at them and feel attracted to it, and then learn them by themselves. So these are the 2 points I believe which students can do. And the third important thing is that we need to keep them involved. Students are supposed to remain attached with the teacher. Once again, it becomes a responsibility of the teacher, I know. And the students are required to be in connection, in contact with their fellows, specifically their teachers, so that the network is not lost. The connection is not lost. Once the connection is lost, everything is lost. So you have to keep them in the loop. You have to keep them in the contact setup so that the network is not broken, so that the kind of learning atmosphere that you have developed is not destroyed. So I believe these are the 3 simple things that we can make use of in this atmosphere situation. Sorry.
We'll move to Hira, and if she could share something for parents or students, we don't mind.
Yes, I think sleep wake cycle is very important because for younger children and for adults, because all the routine is being upset. School was the thing which was providing them the whole routine, and now this has to happen, this has to happen, we have to go for playing, the Maulvi Sahib will come and this and that. So these were the things which were keeping them in routine, and now nothing is there. So sleep wake cycle is very important, whether the children are small or big, and every family member should be following the same sleep wake cycle at least. This was my suggestion, the first one. And the second one was that please be positive, for especially for parents, because the young children, they are learning whatever you are doing, they actually replicate you. So the best part is to keep yourself positive, and this will actually automatically transfer in children. And the third thing was which was I was thinking, to keep them engaged in some constructive things, some painting, some different activities which can be done indoors. Or the people who have, the more privileged people, they have their lawns and everything, so they can play with their children, so that in that way they will also be physically active. Because right now we were just sitting and doing things on our mobile. The screen time is being
Extended a
maximized.
lot.
Yes, maximized. It has reached to the limits. Now the children are not only watching, they're taking classes, so it's more than 5 to 6 hours now. So these were the 3 things which I think should be done as far as the
In fact,
situation
if
gets.
you allow me, I would like to add something here.
Please.
I hope you remember we had a discussion last time, and I have shared the idea of gardening because I have myself practiced it for a couple of months now. It's actually not a couple of months, it's been a whole year that I've been doing the gardening in my own home. And believe me, it's very, very, very attractive. And it just doesn't attract the minds of the adult, it also attracts the children as well. You just need to guide them how to do things, how to plant trees, how to plant seeds and how to water them, how to take care of them, and how to experience them growing, how to observe their growth, and how to learn new things with the help of electronic media about nourishing them, about making use of the plants that are growing inside your home, And one more important thing is that when you're growing trees or plants in your home, or you're doing gardening thing in your home, you also experience different kind of insects, different kind of small birds coming in your home and do the pollination. And it's very fascinating to observe this entire situation. So I would second the thought of Ms. Hira that these are some of the activities. It's actually one of the activities that can grab the attention of young children or anybody who is inside the home, and actually keep them away from the useless screen time that they are spending without any particular objective or without any particular ambition. So if you are doing things physically in your home, specifically related to gardening, I would say this is going to really give a lot of benefit, mental benefit and health benefits to the entire family.
Wow. I think on this feedback, I think I was just reflecting that this pandemic, this COVID-19, despite it's a very dangerous thing, but it has given a lot of opportunity to people like us, because we have seen the world from one lens, and now we are seeing the world from the other lens. What kind of opportunities this pandemic has given to developing countries like us?
True, very true.
So what comes to your mind if I'll ask, like, what kind of opportunities have you received from this pandemic as something positive, which we've been asking them to change, to be compatible with modern time, but we were not ready, we weren't ready, we were not willing to get ready. But now the time has forced us to get ready.
I somehow have started to have a feeling that probably this is some kind of a conspiracy theory, or that there are some forces in the world that are trying to push the entire population, the global population, towards uh, electronic lifestyle.
Right.
Like some people used to say, it's also one of the parts of the conspiracy theory that the Jews or the Zionists are trying to bring the entire business of the world or shift the transactions, business transaction from physical give and take to electronic give and take. So electronic currency was a term used by them. So it somehow gives me a feeling that there are some forces which are trying to push us to switch ourselves to a completely different and new lifestyle, which could be recorded on screen, which could be kept a complete check on, and by the help of which we could be involved in a network which could be monitored or supervised by some invisible forces. It might be wrong, I might be wrong, but this is just a feeling that I'm having right now about this entire online thing.
You're talking about George Orwell, Big Brother is watching us.
Yes, we can say.
Theory. Yes, yes.
But at the same time, we are also having some benefits of this thing as well. We are having new opportunities to learn things in different perspective, in different styles, and we are in a position to save time. We are in a position to not waste it the way we used to waste it in our traditional classrooms or universities or schools or colleges. And we are having a very controlled and cautious understanding of how the situation should be working right now. Right? For example, if we are having a meeting, if we were sitting in a hotel or doing the similar kind of a conversation in some other atmosphere, we probably could not have had an idea about managing time. But right now, when we are doing things, the same meeting online, we are considering the time limitation, time constraints as well, just like Zoom has some 40 minutes constraints.
Right.
So we are having in our mind, the back of our mind, that this is something that we have to take care of. So this is a new learning. This is the new understanding that we are.
We all are becoming 21st century learners, right? So everybody, regardless of whatever age is, we all are now 21st century learners. Very good. Thank you, sir. Hira, your take?
My take will be it's actually depend person to person. I take it as a blessing in disguise, because I got more time to do the things which I was unable to do when I was doing following the daily routine of a school, and then this and then that. So it is the time if you want to continue with the things you want to learn, and it actually depends person to person what they want to learn. Actually, I have learned a lot about psychology these days. I was following one or two the lectures that people are giving live sessions these days. So it depends. Still, some people are wasting time. Still, they are doing just, TikTok videos and everything. I got hundreds of TikTok videos in a day. So people have more time to do these kind of stuff also. So it depends if a person is taking it as an opportunity or is just a time pass.
It's talent acquisition also, right? They are showing the talent through this, right? Yeah.
Yes. And it has taught us that every person should be computer literate now.
Yes.
Illiterate person has no business in this new world. The people who were doing online business before, they are flourishing, and the people who were, the shopkeepers, those who weren't able to do anything. So education, computer literacy, and everything has become more challenging. And this is a kind of a survival to the fittest thing, the Newton law. So we have reached to that point. So whoever is fit, more attractive, grabbing the attention, online doing. Charles Darwin. So it has become like that. So if you think it as an opportunity, it will become like that. If you think it as a lockdown situation is worse, people are having anxiety attacks these days. So it's just a game of mindset, I guess.
Yes, thank you very much. It was really nourishing to listen to your talk. It was actually a good intellectual retreat by having a word with both the panelists. I really appreciate your time. And yes, we are reaching to a beautiful conclusion that in order to be relevant, in order to be relatable, in order to be realistic, we need to actually equip ourselves with 21st century learning. And if we'll do that, we'll be able to have impact not only on ourselves as teachers, but on teachers and learners and teaching and learning process. Thank you very much for your time. Inshallah, we'll meet next time as well. Bye-bye. Take care.